Judge's strange sentence to guilty defendant leaves the courtroom reeling. Most of us would like to believe the justice system deals out punishment to fit the crime, though sadly this isn't always the case. Offenders often walk away with little more than a reprimand, and those that do serve time rarely turn a new leaf. For the most disturbed minds especially, jail time is merely a slap on the wrist. But while courtrooms across the country continue to feed into this redundant cycle, one Ohio judge is taking matters into his own hands. With his special brand of creative justice, this small-town lawman is finally putting criminals in their place. And the sentences he's dealing out are far more than just controversial. For decades, Judge Michael Kitchenetti of the Painesville Municipal Court was the last person you wanted to see behind the bench. The man himself won't intimidate you much, though his idea of criminal punishment is sure to send a shiver down your spine. Instead of simply sentencing his defendants and sending them on their way, Kitchenetti gives them a choice: either serve a standard sentence of jail time or be given a rather unique alternative. Michelle Murray, a 26-year-old Ohio housewife, got a first-hand taste of Kitchenetti's unorthodox methods after being brought before him on animal abuse charges. She had abandoned 35 kittens in the middle of the woods in the wintertime. Kitchenetti knew he couldn't just issue Murray a standard sentence. A fine or a night in jail would all but guarantee a repeat offense. So he offered her a choice. After court adjourned that day, 2 of his deputies drove Murray into the woods. To give the perpetrator a taste of her own medicine, Murray slept in the woods that night in the same freezing temperatures that she'd left the kittens in. Kitchenetti hoped to make an example of Murray, though some people just never learned. Shortly after Murray's punishment, a woman named Alyssa Morrow came before Kitchenetti on charges of forcing her dog to live in filth. Just like before, the judge gave her a choice, and soon Morrow found herself at the city dump. For 8 hours, the defendant was forced to sit in the foulest-smelling part of the dump and think about what she'd done to her dog. While these punishments may seem cruel, they're all part of Kitchenetti's greater plan. According to the judge, this type of creative justice serves to create a link between the offender and their victim in the hope of preventing them from committing the crime again. And believe it or not, it really works. Nationally, the recidivism rate sits at around 75%, meaning that 3/4 of criminals are likely to become repeat offenders even after serving jail time. In Kitchenetti's court, the rate is just 10%. What's most surprising, however, are the defendants' reactions to Kitchenetti's sentencings. Most of them actually thank the judge for his ruling and continue to keep in touch with him. Unusual considering how crazy some of his other punishments have been. One man who received a traffic violation was also cited for calling the ticketing officer pigs. Kitchenetti sentenced the man to stand on a street corner with a 350-pound pig and a sign that read, "This is not a police officer." Another time, a woman was brought before him having skipped out on fare for a 30-mile cab ride. Kitchenetti made her walk the distance of the ride over the course of just 48 hours. The judge then upped the stakes after a woman was caught stealing from a church collection. As punishment, Kitchenetti had her spell out, "I stole from this church," entirely in coins, and apologized to each parishioner as they entered to attend Mass. On another occasion, he ordered a teenager caught stealing pornography from an adult bookstore to sit outside with a blindfold and a sign that said, "See no evil." He also made a man who committed child abuse speak about child safety at a school while dressed as a dog. Further punishments include making a man caught with a loaded gun visit a morgue, and one who stole $250 from the Salvation Army spend 24 hours homeless. But as extreme as some of these rulings may seem, Kitchenetti has the full support of his fellow judges. He never does these things to embarrass anybody. He's doing it to bring awareness to some situations, and therefore it sort of makes society think a little bit, said Mentor Municipal Court Judge John Trebetz. In fact, many of his punishments are constructive too. After stealing a bike, one teenager was sentenced to spend 10 days riding one for charity. The judge also ordered a man who shot a dog to donate 40 pounds of dog food to the Lake County Animal Shelter every holiday for the rest of his life. He gave a similar constructive discipline to a pair of teenagers caught slashing school bus tires. For their crime, Kitchenetti had them throw a picnic for the children whose field trip was canceled because of the prank. Shoveling snow during a blizzard Planting a community garden and picking up trash at a landfill are just a handful of the other sentences Kitchenetti has handed down in lieu of jail time. Sadly, the punishments may not continue. On September 20th, 2019, the 68-year-old Kitchenetti stepped down after 25 years behind the bench. Fortunately, other courts around the country are beginning to adopt the judge's unique punishments, hopeful that one day repeat offenses will become a thing of the past.